Hi there, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be going over your Chapter 2 review assignment found on page 94, just the odds this time. So just make sure you're paying close attention, and we're only going to focus on the odds, even though we'll see the evens as well. So let's go ahead and start here. So number 1 says a number d minus 2 is less than negative 1. That one's really easy. You just write d minus 2 is less than negative 1. Okay. For numbers 3 and 5, you're just graphing the inequality. 4 is right there in the middle. 3 is an open circle pointing to the right. For number 5, I would recommend rewriting. So z is less than or equal to negative 1, which means you'll have negative 1 in the center of your graph with a closed circle and pointing left. Okay? For number 7, you're solving the inequality and then graphing, so we're going to add 4 to both sides. So r is less than negative 2. That's going to be an open circle above the negative 2 and pointing left. All right? For number 9, you should have divided both sides by 3 so that x is greater than negative 7. Again, when you graph that, you're going to get an open circle. Pointing to the right. Okay. For number 11, I'm going to rewrite this one down here. In order to solve number 11, you have to divide by 3/4, which is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to do that in a different color so you can see that clearly. But I'm going to be multiplying by negative 4/3 on both sides. Okay, many of you have forgotten how to do this. This is just a good refresher. 4/3 times 3/4 gives you 1, and that's exactly what we wanted. Since we did multiply by a negative number to solve this less than or equal to is going to change to greater than or equal to, and then 3 times negative 4/3 is negative 4. So n is greater than or equal to negative 4 for my answer. That's be a closed circle pointing to the right for number 11. For number 13, I'm just dividing both sides by 2. I get 18 is less than q, or I can rewrite that as q is greater than 18. To graph that, we have an open circle pointing to the right. Okay. We're going to look at 15, 17, and 19 on this page. I'm going to go and do 15 up here. So we'll add 4 to both sides, so we'll get 3x is greater than 15. And then we'll divide by both sides by 3. X is greater than 5. So when you graph number 15, that's an open circle pointing to the right. For number 17, I'm going to rewrite down. Okay, so for number 17, your main goal is just to get variables on one side and constants on the other. I'm going to go ahead and get all my variables to the left side. So I'm going to subtract n from both sides, and I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. So I'm going to get negative 4n is less than or equal to negative 4. And when I divide both sides by negative 4, notice that your inequality symbol needs to change to greater than or equal to. So answer to number 17 is n is greater than or equal to 1. And just remember, as you're graphing that, that's a closed circle pointing right. For number 19, you had to distribute first. So that is 12t plus 54 is less than or equal to 12t minus 1. Some of you probably started to move 12t to the left. And if you notice, it says 54, or what you're left with is 54 is less than or equal to negative 1. And so for this one, because this is not true, we're going to say no solution for number 19. Okay, going on to number 21, you're writing this one. It says a number is x is more than negative 6, and then at most 8. So x will be less than or equal to 8. And since this is an and inequality, we're going to write it as a compound inequality. So negative 6 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 8. And to graph that, negative 6 is here, 8 is here. Negative 6 would have an open circle above it, and 8 has a closed circle above it. and then they're connected. For number 23, solve the inequality and then graph the solution. So you're basically just solving two separate ones. I'm going to go and multiply by 4 on both sides to get r is less than negative 20. And then here, I'm going to add 7 to both sides. So I'm going to get negative 2r is less than or equal to 10. When I divide both sides by negative 2, I'm going to get r is greater than or equal to negative 5. So when I plot these, here's negative 20, here's negative 5. Less than 20 is open circle pointing left, greater than or equal to 5 closed circle pointing right. So r is less than negative 20, or r is less than or greater than or equal to negative 5. For number 25, after you solved it, I'm going to pull this one down here. With number 25, you notice that you can't solve this one because absolute values need to be bigger than positive numbers. So for 25, you need to write no solution. Okay, let's go ahead and look at 27. So for 27, I'm going to isolate the absolute value first. That means I'm going to add 7 to both sides. So I get 5, absolute value of b plus 8 is greater than 20. And then I'm going to divide everything by 5. So I get the absolute value of b plus 8 is greater than 4. And then it would be helpful to write two different equations here, or inequalities. b plus 8 is less than negative 4, and b plus 8 is greater than 4. When I solve, I'm going to get b is less than negative 12, and b is greater than negative 4. Those are not going to overlap, so they become ors. And then when I graph them, I get b is less than 12 will be negative 12, and here's negative 4. Say this is negative 8. Negative 12 is open circle pointing left, and negative 4 is open circle pointing right. Okay, I'm going to scoot it on down to show number 29. So here's number 29. Again, the first thing I'm going to do is isolate the absolute value. So I have absolute value, I subtracted 10 from both sides. I get absolute value of 9 minus 2j is greater than or equal to negative 8. Because absolute value is always going to be greater than or equal to negative numbers, I'm going to answer all real numbers for number 29. Okay, that's going to conclude your Chapter 2 Quiz 2 review. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.